What's up, guys? This is Nina, one check away. Are you ready to finish the burn pit cancer State of the Union? Well, but first let's look behind us here. Do you see this? This behind me is where I went to military school, Kemper. It's in Boonville, Missouri. They filmed Child's Play 3 there. So when you're first brand new, this is the girls' barracks. This is the guys' barracks over there. But you have to go on the very top floor, and then the after you're broken, you get a regular room. And mine was right. Oh gosh, it's so hard to do it like this. Right there. There was my room. Yeah. What a crazy place that was. Let me show you some other pictures from that too. I spent over a year there. Could have graduated there, but man, girls were getting raped and it's crazy there. Okay, here's another one. This is funny. So yeah, we stood like this, and we didn't really wear CPUs that much. We wore a blue. It's the same ones they wore in Child's Play 3, but there's the barracks over there, where girls' barracks, guys' barracks. This is called the bull ring right here. I walked miles, ran miles, did so many push-ups right there. This was the KGA barracks in the library over here on the left. It's weird watching that movie because I'm like, my first day there, I thought I was psychic. I was like, I knew I was coming here. I've seen this place before. And I was like, I'm psychic. And they were like, well, they filmed Child's Play 3 here. And I was like, oh, that's it. Okay. So let's go ahead and do the cancer of yeah. The State of the Union. It's hard to watch this. I mean, this would be a great speech if this was real, if everything he was talking about was happening, or that they cared about this stuff, but they don't.
The trust is violated. Join us tonight are the parents, Tyree Nichols. Welcome.
And if only we could fit in all the parents whose children's lives were taken by the police. It'd fill that whole room. All the families of the victims whose lives were taken too early by the police for God knows what reason, just for being the wrong color or at the wrong place at the wrong time.
I had to bury Tyree last week. As many of you personally know, there's no words to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law. Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, playing in the park, or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk.
Ugh.
The talk.
Shut up.
Got in the car. Here's what Tyree's mother shared with me when I spoke to her. When I asked her how she finds the courage to carry on and speak out. The faith of God, she said her son was, quote, a beautiful soul, and something good will come of this.
More funding for the police. That's what's going to come out of this.
Imagine how much courage and carry that takes. It's up to us, all of us. We also need more first responders and professionals to address the growing mental health, substance abuse challenges. More resources, reduce.
You have to be on substances to believe this man and the rest of those actors in theater of our government.
Crime and gun crime. More community intervention programs. More investment in housing. Job.
Excuse me.
All this can help prevent violence in the first place.
Why don't we address the poverty, Joe? Huh? Why don't we give these people a living wage? I bet you crime would dwindle down. But no, they're not going to do that.
Police officers or police departments violate the public trust. They must be held accountable.
You violate the public trust. You are constantly lying, saying, "Oh, I'm going to do that." Even this whole speech is just a fairy tale, La La Land. Who believes this?
Support. Support the families of victims, civil rights groups, and law enforcement. I signed an executive order for all federal officers, banning chokeholds, restricting no-knock warrants, and other key elements of the George Floyd Act. Let's commit ourselves to make the words of Tyler's mom true. Something good must come from this. Something good. And all of us,
Stop clapping. Let them talk.
folks, it's difficult, but it's simple. All of us in this chamber, we need to rise to this moment. Can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts, what we need to do.
Do you have a heart? Huh? Are you sure it's still beating? I think you're a dead man. Look at you. You are as old as. Ugh. This is just pure evil. This is all I can think of because they just sit here and lie about. Like, he sounds like he really cares, doesn't he? He don't care.
Let's come together to finish the job on police reform. Do something. Do something.
Yeah, do something.
That was the plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence. Thank God.
Ah.
Putin's invasion has been a test for the ages. For the right that was taken away in Roe v. Wade, and protect Roe v. Wade.
So we can dangle that carrot in front of you to vote for us. We'll give you some rights back. Nope.
Give every woman a consular right. The Vice President and I are doing everything to protect access to reproductive health care and safeguard patient safety. Well, already more than a dozen states are enforcing extreme abortion bans. Make no mistake about it. Congress passes a national ban, I will veto it. But let's also pass the Bipartisan Equality Act to ensure LGBTQ Americans, especially transgender young people, can live with safety and dignity.
Safety and dignity. Regular people don't get safety and dignity either. And how young do you want young people to decide to become LGBTQ, huh? Huh? If they can't even buy alcohol yet, do you think that's really a good thing to tell them, go ahead and pick your gender now?
Our strength is not just the example of our power, but the power of our example. Let's remember the world's watching. I spoke in this chamber 1 year ago, just days after Vladimir Putin unleashed his brutal attack against Ukraine. A murderous assault, evoking images of death.
What? I can't even get into this. Leave Vladimir Putin alone. President Putin is way more of a man than you are. Yeah, I said it.
And destruction Europe suffered in World War II.
Who really won World War II? Let's think about that, huh? Was it us? Was it us all by ourselves? Russians.
Putin's invasion has been a test for the ages, test for America, test for the world. Would we stand for the most basic of principles? Would we stand for sovereignty? Would we stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny? Will we stand for the defense of democracy? For such defense matters to us because it keeps peace and prevents open season on would-be aggressors that threatens our prosperity. 1 year later, we know the answer. Yes, we would, and we did. We did. Together, we did what America always does at our best. We led. We united NATO. We built a global coalition. We stood against Putin's aggression.
And we are taking all of our tax money and just putting it towards, oh, I thought we were all about climate change. Yeah, well, what do you think bombs do? Do you think they reverse it? I don't think so. All that money. You think that's helping inflation?
We stood with the Ukrainian people to tonight. We're once again joined by Ukrainian's ambassador to the United States. She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people. Our ambassador is here, united. We're united in our support of your country. Would you stand so we can all take a look at you?
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Oops.
Social workers, psychologists responding.
Why are you doing this?
Mental health. More to do. We can do it together. Joining us tonight is a father named Doug from Newton, New Hampshire. He wrote Jill, my wife, a letter, and me as well, about his courageous daughter, Courtney. A contagious laugh, his sister's best friend, her sister's best friend. He shared a story all too familiar to millions of Americans and many of you in the audience. Courtney discovered pills in high school. It spiraled into addiction and eventually death from a fentanyl overdose. She just.
But we keep giving these drug companies money to come up with vaccines that are just fantastic, aren't they? Oh, my heart. Excuse me.
20 years old. Describing the last 8.
My best friend died when we were 19. He overdosed. He's been dead almost 20 years now. I really miss him. Josh Webb.
Years without her, Doug said.
But let's keep giving them money.
There's no worse pain. Yet their family has turned pain to purpose, working to end the stigma and change laws. He told us he wants to start a journey toward American recovery. Doug, we're with you. Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. You got it.
They did this on purpose. They want the Republicans to lash out at Joe just so everybody will give Joe more support. Oh, how could this is what my husband says. How can those dirty Republicans, it's so disrespectful. I'm like, what, honey? No, this is theater.
So let's launch a major surge to stop fentanyl production in the sale and trafficking.
Yeah, right.
More drug detection machines, inspection cargo, stop pills and powder at the border.
Not the powder.
Working with couriers like FedEx, Expect more packages for drugs. Strong penalties to crack down on fentanyl trafficking. Second, let's do more on mental health, especially for our children. When millions of young people are struggling with bullying, violence, trauma,
poverty, struggling from poverty. I have a feeling the FDIC and Jerome Powell are in cahoots with lowering wages and this low inflation by just taking the money to bail in. They're going to bail in by taking our money. Wow, this they're doing a great job, aren't they?
Some greater access to mental health care at their schools. We must finally hold social media companies accountable for experimenting they're doing running children for profit. It's time to pass bipartisan legislation to stop big tech from collecting personal data on our kids.
There's another one we're losing. He just said it. He just said it. It's not going to stop, and they'll just keep taking our data. He says it's time to stop. No. That means it's on the chopping block or the auction block for them to. Every time there is any sort of election, we lose more rights.
Teenagers online. Ban targeted advertising to children and impose stricter limits on the personal data that companies collect on all of us. Third, let's do more to keep this nation's one's truly sacred obligation to equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home. Job training, job placement for veterans and their spouses as they come to.
Can we not make them police officers because we're not the enemy? Maybe that's why we have so much police violence. They still think they're out in the war. Oh, I told you, this is a burn pit speech. I'm getting cancer. Is it almost over?
Return to civilian life, helping veterans afford the rent, because no one should be homeless in America, especially someone who served the country.
How many homeless do you have, Joe? I don't see you doing nothing about it. Just stay standing up, you. Excuse me.
Dennis McDonough is here, the VA. We had a first real discussion when I asked him to take the job. I'm glad he did. We were losing up to 25 veterans a day on suicide. Now we're losing 17 a day to the silent scourge of suicide. 17 veterans a day are committing suicide.
That's a low number, Joe. Why don't we talk about veterans and just regular American suicide? Because this is a nightmare. This is supposed to be the American dream. It's a nightmare. This is a nightmare. Every day people wake up, don't know what to do, and are desperate for help. And who you helping? The corporations. Let's just call you Corporate Joe.
More than all the people being killed in the wars. Folks, VA is doing everything it can, including expanding mental health screening, proven programs that recruits veterans, help other veterans understand what they're going through, get them the help they need. We got to do more. And fourth, last year, Jill and I reignited the cancer moonshot that I was able to start with President Obama asked me to lead our administration on this issue. Our goal is to cut the cancer death rates at least by 50% in the next 25 years. Turn more cancers from death sentences to treatable diseases. Provide more support for patients and their families. It's personal to so many of us. so many of us in this audience. Joining us,
Because of our never-ending wars, we have to have all these people dying from cancer and PTSD. We're not going to stop the wars, though. Sorry.
for Morris and Candice, an Irishman and the daughter of immigrants from Panama. They met and fell in love in New York City and got married in the same chapel as Jill and I got married in New York City. Kindred spirits. He wrote us a letter about his little daughter Ava, and I saw her just before I came over.
I can't. So,
Prayed to be cured of cancer, and she's watching. Oh, folks, there's one reason why we've been able to do all of these things. Our democracy itself. It's the most fundamental.
the democracy. Nobody wants you to spend all this money on war, Joe. Huh? Who is the real dictatorship? I mean, where's the real dictatorship at? Is it Russia? No, because he has 87% of his voters that approve of what he's doing. What's your numbers, Joe? We don't approve. I don't approve. Anybody who does approve is making money off it or is so brainwashed that they don't realize what they're saying, you know, what they're hurraying to and going along with. I'd say our democracy's dead. Dead. Dead, 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 dead ski.
It's the most fundamental thing of all. Democracy. Everything's possible. Without it, nothing is.
For the poor working class, they just take more and more and more until there's nothing left.
The last few years, our democracy has been threatened and attacked.
What, the rich people's democracy who get whatever they want all the time? Was that a threat to you when the feds helped them start and get in to do January 6th? Was that democracy, Joe? Oh, that was a threat, even though it was your own people on your payroll making it happen. It's just for more funding.
Put at risk, put to the test in this very room on January the 6th. And then just a few months ago, an unhinged big lie, assailant unleashed of political violence, along with then the Speaker of the House of Representatives, using the very same language the insurrectionists used as they stalked these halls and chanted on January 6th. Here tonight in this chamber is a man who bears the scars of that brutal attack, but is as tough and as strong and as resilient as they get. My friend Paul Pelosi.
Is that Bono? Yeah, you need to be there, buddy. And Paul Pelosi, that is the quickest recovery. I think you're a robot. Seriously. What other 80-year-old man could survive a hit with a hammer? Ugh.
Such a heinous act should have never happened. We must all speak out.
Wasn't this a homeless person who attacked him? Well, you're putting more people into homelessness state. What if I went homeless right now, where would I go? Can't sleep on public property or I'd be going to jail. I have no record. No criminal record whatsoever at all. I would if I became homeless and had to sleep somewhere. I wouldn't know where to sleep. Then I'd be a criminal. I'd get pretty desperate.
There's no place for political violence in America. We have to protect the right to vote, not suppress that fundamental right. Honor the results of our elections, not subvert the will of people. We have to uphold the rule of law and restore trust in our institutions of democracy. We must give hate and extremism in any form no safe harbor.
Yes, I agree. Stop hating on the working class. Just fucking quit it. Because that's what it is. This is pure hate. They hate us. They despise us. They want us dead. Yeah, let's crack down on that.
Democracy must not be a partisan issue. It's an American issue. Every generation of Americans has faced a moment where they haven't been called to protect our democracy, defend it, stand up for it. And this is our moment.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. I'm standing up right now saying, my life is great. Everything is fine. And Joe, you're doing a great job. Democracy.
My fellow Americans, we meet tonight at an inflection point. One of those moments that only a few generations ever face. But the direction we now take is going to decide the course of this nation for decades to come. We're not bystanders of history. We're not powerless before the forces that confront us. It's within our power of we, the people. We're facing the test of our time. We have to be the nation we've always been at our best. Optimistic, hopeful, forward-looking.
I gave that up a long time ago, Joe. My life has gotten nothing but worse since I was 18 years old. When you only get a 10-cent raise a year and you know you're doing a good job because your numbers are showing it. I used to be able to live on my own. I can't now.
Nation embraces light over dark, hope over fear, unity over division, stability over chaos. We have to see each other not as enemies, but as fellow Americans.
You are turning us into enemies. If we threaten their funding for the war, we're the enemy, right, Joe? Right? Or to give subsidies to the most richest corporations on the planet. Huh? That's an enemy of your democracy, right?
Good people. The only nation in the world built on an idea. The only one.
Stop clapping. Go away.
Are defined by geography, ethnicity. We're the only nation based on an idea that all of us, every one of us, is created equal in the image of God. A nation that stands as a beacon of the world. A nation.
Have you seen the tent cities?
In a new age of possibilities. So I've come to fulfill my constitutional obligation, report in the State of the Union. And here's my report. Because the soul of this nation is strong, because the backbone of this nation is strong, because the people of this nation are strong, the State of the Union is strong.
Boo! Boo! Your people are living in tents. We have the highest inflation since I was born. I was born in 82. The inflation was ridiculous. More children go without. More people are going without. And you guys are just fine. There's no backbone. Nobody living on the streets has any dignity or pride. Ugh. Stop it. I don't know about you, but I feel sick. So, thanks for listening. Most of these cadets that when we went to military school back in the late 90s, mid 90s. None of them I know went into the actual military. None of them did. I wonder why. All right, like, subscribe, and share, and I will be back with you soon. Don't give up.